Hello car lovers, driving the 2025 Genesis GV70. This is the 3.5 liter all equipped. What to say about this vehicle? First a quick overview, and we'll come back.
The Genesis GV70 is a compact luxury crossover. It comes in either 4-cylinder turbo or 6-cylinder turbo. There are 3 4-cylinder turbo models and 2 models with a 6-cylinder turbo. We get the 6-cylinder turbo all equipped at $80,000 Canadian. Both have 8-speed automatics and all-wheel drive. The 4-cylinder turbo does 11.7 liters and 9 liters per 100 kilometers, or 26 mpg, and produces 300 horsepower and 311 pounds of torque. That's plenty. The 6-cylinder turbo produces 375 horsepower and 391 pounds of torque and does 12.9 liters and 10 liters per 100 kilometers, or 18/23 mpg. The value is the 4-cylinder turbo model, just above base model at $65,000, which has the high-end sound system, 21-inch wheels, and highway drive assist 2, which is level 2 assist of autonomous driving, which means as long as you keep your hands on the wheel, it should do most of the driving, especially on the highway. This all-equipped V6 has many features such as heads-up display, massaging seats, and a host of additional electronic aids, Nappa leather, and plenty of power.
What to say about this vehicle? Well, I'm going to start with the exterior styling. It's nice, it's distinct. It's got kind of like that, it tapers off in the back. There's full of lines on the side. Ross makes the excellent remark, he makes it on every video by the way, about how the Genesis build quality on the outside, the way the seams fit together, the paint quality, the general feeling of being well assembled and having nothing to envy from its perhaps more prestigious German rivals. Excellent remark, I agree with him, it looks great. On the inside, well, from the space management perspective, Genesis G70 gets an average score. Sitting in front, good room. I have plenty of room for my mansplaining position despite a big transmission tunnel. We have about maybe 4 inches of room between Ross's elbow and my elbow. So in the front, no problem. In the back though, sitting behind myself, there's a lot of room. Sitting behind Ross, there's missing room. So not too great on that level. Same thing with the trunk. The trunk floor is high, and the way the roof tapers off, it really eats into the space of the rear hatch. So, and that is average. So average space management on the part of Genesis. Other interior notes, well, the materials quality here. This materials quality, it's all very good. The leather, the doors, the feeling of quality of the door pulls, when you raise or lower windows, the haptic feedback, it's all very good. This climate control, very nice. This digital dash, very nice. Steering wheel, it's a nice steering wheel with a nice leather. It feels quality, it feels solid. Electronically adjust the steering wheel, among other things. So that part is very good. Talking about the seats, very comfortable. A massage feature for the back and the seat of your pants. So what that does is on long trips, that massage feature just keeps the blood flowing. It makes it, delays the point of discomfort if you want on long road trips, which is very nice. I can see myself sitting in traffic for an hour with the massaged seats, and I'm gonna feel very good. It's not a minor thing. You do have a good sound system. You do have a nice infotainment, which has a pretty snappy response, a little bit complicated to get through, but then again, they all are. I like the way the infotainment is at eye level, right? And it's not here. So you have a tendency to less take your eyes off the road. The road in front of you remains in your peripheral vision, which is nice. There's a heads-up display. There's a nice panoramic roof when you're sitting behind me. Normally, if you don't have a panoramic roof, it can get dark. It's not dark here. It's very nice. So pretty good stuff. I'm feeling my money here in terms of just the luxury appointments. You have a nice mouse skin here too also. In terms of visibility, pretty good in front, pretty good on the side. Rear 3/4 is very good. This is very user-friendly. So having that said, let's take a look at other things here. The engine transmission are good. The V6, kind of old school. I'm just finding a non-hybrid powertrain is just becoming so outdated, especially in the land of high gas prices that we live in Canada, and more specifically in Quebec. I mean, I would love to have a hybrid option. and especially at $80,000. And Genesis can make good hybrids. The transmission doesn't draw attention to itself, and of course there is all-wheel drive for the winter. Road and wind noise are absolutely absent. I think it scores very high. I went on the highway before with Ross. It was beautiful. There was construction before. I could barely hear it. Right now I'm in the city. There's this huge bus right next to me. Hold on, I'm gonna get out of its way a little bit. And it is, I can barely hear it. You barely hear the bus. It's quite remarkable. The sound insulation, including the road insulation too, is very good. So that it scores very high. This is a competent vehicle. It's a luxurious vehicle. Ross makes the remark, it still doesn't have its brand identity. So like, for example, when I see a Lexus RX driver, I'm thinking right away, that's an everyday millionaire, right? That's somebody who's at the first level of wealth, like 1 to 5 million net assets. That's, I think, a reasonable person, somebody who played his cards right in life, who played the long game. When I see a BMW, I think an entrepreneur. When I see a Mercedes, I think somebody who spares no expense for luxury and comfort. All these brands you have an idea about who drives them. I don't have that brand identification with Genesis. It's kind of funny. They're still working on that. I don't see them going in a specific direction. And it used to be a deal, right? It used to be you got the Genesis brand where you were getting the same amount of luxury as the German competitors, and you were kind of like being given a 10% rebate. And on top of that, you were given a decent reliability and a no-hassle ownership experience. At $80,000, I find this vehicle is just a bit expensive for my taste. The suspension, in fact, the whole driving interfaces are set up for extreme comfort. I mean, you can feel it. The suspension is kind of like wobbly a little bit, and on the Montreal Trail, you may feel some of the bumps a tiny bit, but it never becomes unsettled. It never it can handle anything, right? The worst of Montreal, so that's very good. The driving aids too are excellent. Hyundai Genesis make wonderful driving aids. So this vehicle is obviously very recommendable on the purchase, very recommendable on the lease. And apart from its brand, which is not yet settled, and I would say that the price is a little bit high for at least this V6 model. Maybe get the 4-cylinder. It's a more reasonable price and get similar appointments. I would certainly recommend that. This vehicle is very recommendable on the purchase or on the lease. And that's what I have to say about the Genesis GV70. By the way, if you like this video, like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. And if you really like it, well then of course, you should subscribe. And that is it.